Hey guys, it's LivSims back with part two of the 100 Baby Challenge home. We are just finishing up on the main floor and moving on to the upper floor where I'm adding a little balcony and a back porch, which is kind of small, but we just fit a few more scale building items in there. And then soon we're just going to move into the kids' bedroom. So what normally I would have done was have a separate bedroom for kids and a separate bedroom for teens, but the space in this build didn't allow for that. So we end up just having one room for all of the teens and kids, but I think it turned out pretty cute anyways, and it is a fully functional room. I did play test it. I'm sure you will actually see myself sim testing out some of the beds as I was adding them in and just arranging it to make sure that they could all be accessible for everybody. And up here we get a full bathroom and we end up having 3 showers, 2 toilets, and 2 sinks in the bathroom that is attached to the room there, which I think it turned out really, really great and it's super functional for this challenge. And then the rest of the upstairs space is actually used for a little study area and a little bit of an office as well. So if your matriarch sim is a writer or a painter, all of these skill building items for her will be upstairs. You could switch out the desk with the computer on it for one of the desks for video editing, which would fit perfectly in that space if your matriarch sim is a YouTuber of some kind. So we're just getting a few of the little poofs from Tiny Living. These are one of my favorite items in the game, but since they were placed right in the middle there, I wanted to make sure that the Sims could get around them. So I did fool around with it a little bit, tried to place it down. And originally what I wanted to do was get something on the top of that, so like a shelf, and then I had sized down these tables from Eco Lifestyle, so they looked like little trays on each square, but it just couldn't make it work with the Move Objects cheat. I just couldn't lower the items down. They kept clipping onto where they thought the table height was, even though I had sized them down. So I ended up getting rid of them altogether, but I thought it would have been a really kind of a cute idea. I end up cutting out a lot of that time just fooling around with it because I spent way more time on it than I wanted to. I actually have the red shelf mod as well, and that worked really well, but I was concerned that when I uploaded it to the gallery, it would be flagged for custom content, and I didn't want to have to worry about that. So I ended up just taking out the tables altogether and adding a bunch of clutter stuff. I wanted to make sure that all of the clutter items that were on it really showed that it's a room shared by teens and kids. So we've got magazines that would be more represented by the kids and some books, we've got magazines and books that be more represented for the teens, but then we have a few toys as well that's a little represented that represents all of the kids in the room as well. And then I just wanted to get a rug in here just to make it look a little more homey, but I didn't want it to be too busy, so we ended up using some different colors of the round rug that came with the base game, and I just played around with the sizes a little bit just to add a little bit of character to the room, and then it matches pretty well with the color scheme as well. And then I wanted to get some curtains in here, but I didn't want to block all of the light that was coming in because all of the light came from the small windows there. And then I end up switching out those bigger windows to smaller windows as well. So I didn't want to cover it up with curtains. And then I just added a bunch of wall art to the room to make it look like a kid's room or a teen's room with a bunch of posters, and I tried to add posters that looked like they could be from different age groups. So there's some cartoons, some sports, definitely some teenager looking posters as well. And then a few other decorations just around the room. And then I actually threw a soccer ball over there, which is good for skill building as well. And then we're just getting into the bathroom here where I put in 3 showers and they're all functional, which was really exciting. And then the 2 toilets as well. I always liked to play this challenge with lots of bathroom space because when there was a line, then that just caused more of a mess or some negative moodlets that I just didn't want to deal with. I ended up extending the bathroom just a little bit just so we could fit in 3 full showers and have a nice space for cabinets as well. And I used the showers from Discovery University, added a door on the front, and they are custom little showers that we have. And that way, I didn't want to use the standalone showers because they have windows and your Sims will get embarrassed. But these ones, they won't get embarrassed when they use them. So all three people could be using a shower at one time. And just changed up the color scheme a little bit to match the doors. So we added black sinks with black cabinets. And then I just added a bunch of clutter items up here. I normally like to build with quite a bit of clutter, but I wanted to keep the downstairs level as clutter-free as possible. That way, if you guys download the game, you can add your own little clutter items and some of the stuff that the kids bring home, like school projects and little artwork that they do, paintings that they do. So I didn't clutter up the main living space, but I did take the opportunity to clutter up that bathroom quite a bit and add a few things to make it look like there are a lot of kids using that washroom as well. And then this turns into a little bit of a study area. Like I was mentioning before, I ended up making the whole side of the house just one tile bigger because there just wasn't enough space to get in everything that I wanted to, and I wanted to make sure that there were skill building items in any space that was available. That way this house has everything that you guys need to do this challenge. So I end up just extending it a little bit. That way we can have the 2 tables for chairs and then the computer desk as well, which, like I had said before, you can switch out for the video editing desk. So when I did my challenge, I had 3 matriarchs and they had 3 different jobs. The first one, she was a writer. Then my second one was a painter, and the third one was the YouTuber because I had just gotten the Get Famous pack and I really wanted to explore some of those careers, but I know that the challenge rules are that the matriarch can't have a job where she leaves the house. So we used the drone and we used the YouTube station. I think it was the more views video station. And I had finished off my challenge with a career in YouTubing. But what I actually found was most of the time in the challenge, I was making all my money from all of the presents that I would get for every time I aged up a kid, all of those toys and little gifts that would come in the mail. I would just sell them all. So by the end of it, because I had so many kids, most of the money that I was making was just coming directly from all of those presents. So I didn't even end up needing to work too much by the end of it all. And I was just adding different types of skill building items because I was getting a little bored of the regular fitness, cooking, skill, comedy, singing. So I ended up just adding, I had the telescope in the back, I had an ice rink in the back, we had the woodworking table, the flower arranging table, just to have a little bit of a different skill for some of the kids because it was getting a little bit repetitive. I was very happy to be done the challenge when that 100th baby aged up into a young adult and move on to something else. I'm actually currently working on a Super Sim challenge, which I got the idea from James Turner. He is doing his Super Sim. I know he's been working on his for a while, and it's definitely going to be a very long challenge, but I did end up using one of the kids from my 100 baby challenge to start the Super Sim challenge. I'm working through the Strangerville mystery right now, which to my surprise was actually a lot of fun. I wasn't really sure if I was going to enjoy that kind of gameplay from The Sims, but so far it's been really good. Anyways, back to the build. We're just getting into the balcony here. I was going to put a seating area there, but then I thought it was a much better use of space to add a couple more skill buildings. So we have the wellness little stool there and the mat. In case you guys have spa day, you can build the wellness skill as well. And that actually I found comes really, really quickly. You can get to level 3 pretty fast for the teen sims for sure, just on that yoga mat. And then I just wanted to add a little seating area down here on the back. I do add a barbecue. I know that not everyone is a fan of barbecues because of fires, but I didn't have any fires when I was doing my challenge, so I like to have a little barbecue back there. And just makes the house feel a little more complete to me. I ended up changing out those vines to the eco lifestyle panels that we got. I really love that. I do wish that some of the swatches, it would change up the design a little bit. I know they match really well together, but I would have loved to have a few different options with that piece there. And then we're just getting into the backyard. This was kind of one of my favorite things to make for this build. I ended up putting a playhouse in here and it turned out really, really cute. I wanted it to look a little more toy-like and not so much so it matched the house. So it has bright blue doors and windows and a yellow roof, I think I put. And then I used the cabin wallpaper from the camping pack as well, just to make it look a little more kid-like because they are so big. And this ends up having quite a bit of kids skill building items in there. I thought it was the perfect place to load it up with a bunch of different items. So it ends up having swings on the side. The science experiment table is upstairs. There's an art table, a little bookshelf, a toy box, and then back there just a little toddler toy house as well, just so a lot of skills can be built in that little corner there. And then I was going to do that slide, but I realized that we have a slide on the toddler's little back patio, so we just swapped it out for the swings. I really wanted to push the swings all the way in so it looked like it was attached to the playhouse, but it was coming through the other side and I wasn't going to be able to get everything that I wanted to get in there, so I decided to just sort of pull it out a little bit and it would have to be swings all by itself. What I wish that I had done with the swings was added some of the sand with the terrain tools from Island Living. That way it was functional sand. So if you guys do download it and you have Island Living, I think it would be really cool to add a little bit of a sandbox underneath the swings there. After I looked at it, I really wished that I had done that. And then I did add a little small pool. I always liked to have little pool days with the kids, and it does work for your fitness skill as well if you have them swim laps. You just have to make sure that none of them are swimming when they're super tired, because we all know what happens then. And now I'm just doing a bit of landscaping. I really love to load my houses up with as many flowers as possible. I do normally use a lot of flowers from the debug menu, but this time I didn't really go through that because I had just got the Romantic Garden stuff pack and I wanted to use some of the flowers that came with that one. What actually surprised me was there were quite a few really nice flowers from the Strangerville pack that I really liked. I used a lot of those in my previous build, which was a little fairy cottage that you can also go check out if you want. So I'm just finishing up with the backyard, just adding a few more details, and then I'm going to do the front landscaping just a little bit. It's not as much as I normally do because there really wasn't that much room, but I still think it turned out pretty good. I also wanted the front of the playhouse to look like it had its own little garden, so I added some cute little sunflowers and then the little pots as well. So if you want, you can have the gardening skill for your sim, and then there's the flower arranging table on the corner there too, so that's actually an option for making money as well. One thing that's not on camera is I did forget to put a garbage bin in the kitchen, but I remembered after the fact, and I put the garbage can that makes, I think, $10 per sim in the house, and that is such a lifesaver when you're first starting out. If anybody is watching and you're thinking about starting this challenge, even if it's not in this home, because I know it's not a starter home, but try your best to get that garbage can right away, because when you have all these kids in the house, that extra $80 every time you throw away a plate is so worth it. So we're just about to jump into screenshots now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I try to put out a new video every Monday, so make sure to subscribe.